WBA, WBC heavyweight champion Mike Tyson tries to make a better show of it than that embarrassment of last March. We'll examine the boring hugging match with James Bone Crusher Smith. You'll see a different side of a heavyweight champion, Mike Tyson's dedicated commitment to those less fortunate. The challenger is former WBC champion Pinklon Thomas, whose hard road back to this title shot is wrought with controversy. Two determined fighters trying to reestablish their dominance in the heavyweight division. A 20-year-old freight train meets a 29-year-old former champion given his last chance for glory. Mike Tyson meets Pinklon Thomas right here on HBO. Months ago, we sat in the same outdoor stadium anticipating a war, but the first shot was never fired. This crowd and our television audience were utterly disappointed. Now, they say in show business, you're only as good as your last performance. If that's the case, Mike Tyson and Pinklon Thomas have the opportunity to give this near-capacity crowd something to cheer about all over again. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with Sugar Ray Leonard and Larry Merchant. Ray, first of all, let me be the last to publicly congratulate you, welcome you back to your day job. Good to have you back. Let's talk about second things first, and the second thing, the fight between Mike Tyson and Pinklon Thomas. And perhaps the biggest question about the fight, which Pinklon Thomas will show up? The one that beat Tim Witherspoon for the title impressively, or the one who's been unimpressive in his last 4 starts?
Well, Barry, believe it or not, I expect to see the real Pinklon Thomas. I think Thomas's biggest handicap is the fact that his consistency as far as his attitude and his concentration in the ring. In the past, he's always concentrated on other things outside the ring. Tonight, against Mike Tyson, I'm expecting he's going to concentrate and use the jab. The jab will be the key punch to keep Mike Tyson off balance.
The stage is set for another heavyweight champion, Mike.
Go to a fight like that, have to hold and, show people that show them that your emotions, that you're frightened and intimidated.
And I want to perform because the last fight, the Tyson and Bone Crusher fought was a waltz, and I don't plan to do the waltz.
Seriously, look at it and say, well, this is Mike Tyson at his best, and this is the fighter that I expect to fight when I fight Mike Tyson. They're going to be in for a lot of trouble.
I think that Tyson's so used to going in and racking guys on the chin and knocking them cold and walking away. I think Smith just proved a point that, the kid is not invincible.
I'm always there to fight. I'm always there to give the people their money's worth.
He holds both the belts. So I respect him. I have to respect him because he's a champion. But the night of the fight, after the bell ring, I have no respect for him at all.
We're live from the Las Vegas Hilton in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's time for the main event. Mike Tyson defending his WBA and WBC titles against Pinklon Thomas. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. It is a warm night here in Las Vegas as two champions, past and present, meet in a 14,000-seat prefabricated arena in the parking lot next to this city's biggest hotel. So many questions surrounding this fight. Which Pinklon Thomas will enter the ring? Off his last performance, will Tyson jump on the former WBC champion as he did against Barvis Fraser and Trevor Berbick? When the bell rings, we'll start to get some of the answers. Now, Sugar Ray Leonard, let's look back on that fight. You saw a little bit of that waltz with Bone Crusher Smith. What do you suppose Mike Tyson learned from that fight?
Well, I think Mike Tyson can anticipate a lot of fighters taking that same tactics, tying his man up. But what Mike has to do, while the guys tying Mike up, the free hand, work to the body. Those little punches hurt. They don't look like much, but they do hurt.
All right, so now the stage does belong to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson came upon the boxing scene and how he came on, of two personalities, one inside the ring and one outside.
All great champions have their fans, but very few have been cheered and loved like this one.
It's a great big thrill. Michael Tyson is here.
These are members of YAI, the Young Adult Institute, a not-for-profit agency in New York that provides an array of services for the mentally retarded.
Oh my God!
Tyson was brought to the agency by Jim Bouton, a former all-star pitcher with the New York Yankees, who might best be remembered as the author of Ball 4. Today, Bouton devotes much of his time to YAI. As co-chairman of the sports committee, he called upon this young champion to help raise money for desperately needed resident housing.
My idea was to bring Mike down here and introduce him to YAI, to let him see what's being done and to see how desperately these residences are needed. These are private homes, brownstones, dormitory-style living. It gives these people a chance at a normal, dignified life.
But for over 1,400 New Yorkers, the wait to get into such a residence can be more than a decade.
That's absurd, I think. For someone to have to wait 15 years just because they became a victim to something, you know, that they did nothing to deserve. They were just born that way.
For those like Tanya, the long wait does not discourage her from dreaming of what it could be like.
I think it would be fun. Especially you can have breakfast in the morning. You can watch TV. You can go out and do shopping or go out for dinner or something. That's the kind of things I like.
And the kind of thing her newest friend would like to help her get. Thus, the creation of the Mike Tyson YAI Adopt a Home campaign, designed to raise necessary funds through corporate sponsorship. It's now turned into much more than a campaign.
He's not just committed with his name and his title. He's really emotionally involved with these people, and that's what's so wonderful to see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're out.
I would have to say this is the biggest achievement of my personal life now, because I won a couple of fights. I beat guys, I won the title, but that's something I strived for. But it's nothing as doing something that's satisfying. It's just you seeing the outcome on people's faces and make them happy.
I do love you, Mike. I love this guy a lot.
And so do the parents, who now have hope that their children will always have a place to live.
These homes are so important to people like myself. Is in the future, we don't know what will happen. Someone like Mike is the only person that's good for this cause. Someone else will give their name, sign the papers, and that's the end of it. Mike actually puts his heart, his soul into it, and that's what you need the most. Someone like Mike.
It's a great satisfaction for me, really, and it comes from the heart. I never realized I'm just that kind of person. I get the biggest satisfaction from giving than receiving.
1-2. It's been said that sport does not build character. It reveals character. Mike Tyson has revealed the heart of a true champion and has provided for many a newfound hope.
We'll keep trying, we'll keep striving, knowing we can always count on you. For sure, that's what champs are for good times and bad times, we'll be on your side forevermore. That's what fans are for. You're just friends. You're a woman, man. I know what you're telling, yeah.
Yes, I am his woman.
I believe for sure. I believe for sure. I believe for sure. That's what chance are for. Keep smiling. We'll keep trying.
Go for it, Ty. Go hard, man.
But now he is.
Interesting look at an interesting and likable guy. And coming up, it would be so likable to this guy, Pinklon Thomas, on the right of your screen. This for the WBC and WBA heavyweight championships. Mike Tyson and Pinklon Thomas. How far will it go? Well, 50 of these fighters' fights, 50 of the 60 that they fought together have ended in knockouts. With more on this fight, here's Larry Merchant. Larry?
There's an old saying in boxing that a knockout puncher, if he doesn't knock the other guy out or down, will sure make him do a lot of funny things standing up. And in the 6 months that he's been the champion, Mike Tyson has had that effect on other fighters in and out of the ring. Item: Michael Spinks and Jerry Cooney have elected to face each other for less money than either one of them could have gotten for fighting Tyson. Item: George Foreman, Ernie Shavers, Joe Bugner, and others too humorous to mention are coming out of their rocking chairs hoping for one more big payday against Tyson. Larry Holmes could be next. Item: Trevor Berbick came into the ring against Tyson looking like Darth Vader in bizarre black haberdashery, but it was Tyson who carried the terrible swift sword. Item: James Smith came into the ring as the Bone Crusher, but after he faced the speed and the power of Tyson, he quickly became the Bone Hugger. Which brings us to Pinklon Thomas, once regarded as the best of the heavyweights, once regarded by Tyson's handlers as the last heavyweight they were ready for Tyson to meet. Tonight, we wonder whether he is really going to fight Mike Tyson, or whether he's just going to survive. And if he does fight him, can he survive? Nobody knows the trouble Pinklon Thomas has already had.
He's just too young to understand. I think I forgot about more than he probably knows or will probably learn in anything. So he's got to go to school yet. And he haven't faced an opponent like me. He haven't faced the caliber of a fighter like me. He haven't faced a real champion. And I'm a champion.
Bold words for Mike Tyson from a fighter who plummeted to anonymity after losing his crown to Trevor Berbick. The critics' inevitable cry: Pinklon Thomas is washed up. He's finished. He's returned to a life of drug addiction. Could his past in the streets of Pontiac, Michigan, where as a 14-year-old his marijuana use gave way to heroin addiction, have come back to haunt him?
They haven't seen me take no drugs. If they got a record of evidence of me using drugs, then show them. You know, he say, she say has caused a lot of friction in my life.
So if drugs weren't the issue, then what happened to the Thomas of the past, the heralded coming of a new champion, the gleaming hope for the pathetic heavyweight division? His disposal of Mike Weaver confirmed the belief that he would be the man to beat for years. And his success in the ring led to an attempt at a lifelong passion outside the ring.
I wanted to sing. I sung as a kid. I sung in a group. So I had the talent. Then I had the opportunity to sing. at the time that I was in preparation of the fight. Then I had a guy write a song for me that sounded just like me. The words meant a lot when it was saying hanging on the promises, because it was like that's all I was doing, was hanging on the promises. The song had a lot of meaning to me. It played a major role in the setback of Pinklon Thomas.
Apparently, making a record wasn't enough of a diversion. Not only did he manage himself, but he took on 2 other fighters to supervise. Perhaps his most burning problem was the dissolution of his marriage to childhood sweetheart Kathy, the woman who helped him overcome his drug problem.
I'm just glad now that, being that the turmoil that I faced in the hour of separation that came between me and her, that I was able to sustain and get myself in order to be strong and bounce back, because it was part of a personal problem that indulged in the Berbick fight that taunted and haunted me.
Amidst all this confusion, Thomas had to defend his crown against Berbick without his trainer, who left after the Weaver fight because of a financial problem.
How would you feel walking into a deal where you say, gee, I wonder if I'm going to get paid? You know, that's kind of a little backward, you know, and it's not dollars and cents. It's the idea of feeling of comfort. When the fight's over, you do your job, you do the best you can, and then the bread is there. That's the whole story.
About a couple of weeks after the fight, I called Angelo and I told him, I said, you know, man, I said, the greatest mistake I could have made was not having you in my corner. I said, because in the 5th round of the Berbick fight, I missed you. And I really did. I really missed him, you know, because I can remember when I was working with Spoon and we got to the 9th round, he said, three more rounds, baby, you're going to be the champ. I can remember in the 7th round of Weaver fight when I felt it. In the 7th round, I had him. And, I mean, it was like magic working together, you know.
That magic Thomas needs against Mike Tyson is back in his corner. The result of Sugar Ray Leonard's comeback bid signifies the remarkable influence in the presence of Angelo Dundee. Despite 2 recent lackluster victories, Dundee is convinced his man is back.
The Pinklon that I want for Tyson is going to do a number on Tyson. I mean, a real number. I mean, it's just Tyson don't belong in the same category as a Pinklon Thomas. And I mean, I don't mean that sarcastically or berating a Tyson. Tyson hasn't been to school yet. Now, all the qualities of a Pinklon Thomas beats Tyson. He's got the best jab I've seen since Liston. It's a crushing jab. It go right through him. All I can tell you is that him in the right frame of mind, him in the proper conditioning, him not thinking of other things, is a heck of a fighter. He's the best heavyweight out there.
But, of course, the question is which one will show up tonight. Pinklon Thomas, just over 217 pounds. He hasn't fought in 83 days. Has an interesting philosophy. He says, I know what it is to lose. I know what it is to have. I know what it is to not have. I know what it is to be up. And I know what it is to be down. And I'd rather be up. And to make him be up, he would have to become the 4th heavyweight in history to ever regain the championship. Floyd Patterson did it against Ingemar Johansson. Muhammad Ali, of course, did it twice against George Foreman and against Leon Spinks. And Tim Witherspoon did it against Tony Tubbs in a dull fight down in Atlanta. So there he is, Pinklon Thomas. And who will we see tonight?
And there's Pinklon Thomas's record, just 1 loss. And let's just keep in mind, he lost a fight. A lot of fighters have lost fights. We've also seen some fighters, when they lose their first fights, go to pieces. And many observers feel that Thomas is what used to be called a shot fighter. No more zip and zest. We'll see.
So Pinklon Thomas is in the ring now. We await the arrival of Mike Tyson. It's a fight that tactics are going to dictate an awful lot. And, of course, the big weapon for Thomas is the jab.
Well, Barrett, the jab is true. That jab is a very important jab. And in fact, to control the tempo of a fight against a fighter like Mike Tyson, you need a good left jab. And Pinklon Thomas, well, when he decides to use the left jab properly, has one of the most impressive and devastating left jabs in the business, because it has a tendency to keep his man off balance, and for Mike Tyson, keep him at a distance so Mike can't crowd him. And then tonight, I'm expecting to see a lot of clinching from Pinklon Thomas, as we see here against Bone Crusher Smith. And Bone Crusher Smith was able to clinch and tie up Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson knows to get away from there. The free hand, work the body, because those punches hurt. And believe me, I know from personal experience.
Mike Tyson has said that the audience, the crowd, the fans, people don't really remember too much about what happens after one fight. He had a bad fight in his own mind, even though he won all 12 rounds against Bone Crusher Smith, but he says people will forget it. If I have a good outing against Pinklon Thomas, people will forget all about it. He said that he went back home to upstate New York, and as he put it, I got my head chopped off by Kevin Rooney, his trainer. So we'll see if he learned anything, and we'll see what he brings to this dance. I found him, when we talked to him, to be very tight.
And there he is, Mr. Primitive, coming in just in his black trunks, black shoes, no socks.
And you see that he has no robe.
You know, when I look at Mike Tyson, I get the feeling he's so dense that it's like picking up a baseball and finding it weighs 30 pounds. And there's his record, as you can see, unbeaten.
Mike Tyson, as always, comes in very warmed up. You can see a 9-year age difference. Other than that, I think probably the only really startling number there is that Thomas came in at 217, and he does have a reach advantage of some 3.5 inches. I don't really know that that will be any factor in this fight at all.
And here's Punch Stat with another look at some quantitative analysis of their punching habits. And as you can see, both punchers have thrown a wide variety of average numbers of punches depending on their opponents. And there are the jabs. Thomas throwing many more jabs. Tyson throwing many more meaningful punches.
Here are the rules in this fight, similar to the one in the fight you saw a moment ago, that for the IBF championship, with the one exception, of course, being that this will be a 12-round fight. 10-point must system. The judges only score the fight. There won't be a standing 8 count. A fighter can be saved only in the final round by the bell, and there will not be a 3 knockdown rule. Well, we talked about the fact that Mike Tyson comes in here, calls himself a gladiator. Here's a part of that whole look. Throwback. And a coin tucked into his laces on his right shoe. I'll have to ask him about that.
It must be a sentimental piece.
Meanwhile, let's get up now to the ring announcer, Chuck Hull. We'll get the introduction to the fighters, and we'll get on with this. Chuck?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Las Vegas Hilton Sports Arena, where tonight Don King Productions, in association with the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel and Miller Lite, presents the Hard Road to Glory, Destination Ultimate. These bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Dwayne Ford, chairman. Commissioners at ringside are Mr. Sig Rogich, Herb Santos, Sammy Macias, and Freddie Little. And the executive director of that commission is Harold Buck. Representing the WBC at ringside, the president of that organization, Senor Jose Suleiman, and the supervisor, Mr. Spider Bynum of Texas. Representing the WBA at ringside is Mr. Nick Carriasados. The judges appointed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for this, the next event of the evening, are Dalby Shirley of Nevada, Gordon Volkman of Illinois, and Harry Gibbs of England. The timekeeper is Mike Lachella. Counting at the knockdowns, Al Bisick. The attending physicians at ringside, Drs. Flip Pomansky, Donald Romeo, and Elias Gahneman. And your referee is Carlos Padilla. This is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA, WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing, in the blue corner, fighting out of West Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 217 3/4 pounds, with a professional record of 29 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw, and 24 KOs. He's rated #1 in the world by the WBC and is a former champion of that organization. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Pinklon, Pinky Thomas. And in the red corner, fighting out of the Catskills in New York, weighing 218 3/4 pounds. He is undefeated in his professional career with 29 wins, no defeats, 26 KOs. He is the WBC WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Fort Tyson and Pinklon Thomas move to the center of the ring.
Don't put too much grease, okay?
Good.
Okay, towels. Where's your towel?
Hey, Steve, bring me a towel.
Don't put too much grease.
That's sweat.
Okay.
That's sweat.
Okay, well, what do you think? Okay, Tyson, Thomas, you're going to box for 12 rounds. You know the rules of boxing. Avoid using any kinds of foul. Don't throw any punches during the break. Is that understood? Seconds come out fighting.
Will self-preservation kick in for Thomas, or will he come out trying to win this fight?
Took a deep breath before the opening bell. Not a bad idea against Mike Tyson.
Tyson is a 6-1 favorite.
Tyson starts out with the right hand.
Well, you notice there's a much more aggressive Mike Tyson than there was with Bone Crusher Smith. You notice that what happens inside here, we see some clinching. That's what exactly Bone Crusher Smith did. But inside, you may see that Mike Tyson still works. He still throws punches.
He's not giving Thomas a chance to unload that jab.
What Angelo Dundee wants Pinklon Thomas to do is give him angles. Don't stand directly in front of Mike Tyson, because you see here, Mike can throw punches from either angle and with a lot of power.
Yeah, Dundee said Tyson is a two-beat fighter. What he means by that is he comes in, he feigns left, he feigns right. There's a big left hand by Tyson, but Thomas is all right.
You know why Tyson's able to nail so many guys is because he doesn't throw one or two punches. He throws a series of combinations, and one of those punches is going to land. The left hook there. Beautiful left hook.
He has just not let Thomas uncork the jab. He's on top of him before Thomas can let the jab go.
Well, I stated earlier, the key to this punch for Pinklon Thomas is the jab. He has not thrown the left jab to keep his man off balance. You see that it breaks your rhythm. The jab breaks the rhythm.
Another big left hand. Thomas is hurt.
We see more clinching here. And Tyson did not go to the body.
And another left hand. Rarely do you see Tyson throw only one punch.
Pinklon can't take too much more of this because he's standing directly, he's standing straight up, upright, and all Tyson's doing is nailing.
His legs are not rock solid at this moment either.
Watch for the uppercut, Barry, by Mike Tyson inside. I think he has one of the most devastating uppercuts in the heavyweight division. The hands of Pinklon Thomas, especially our right hand, is starting to drop to his side.
Thomas has a long way to go in this first round, too, as you can see. 50 seconds left in the round. Long way.
There's the uppercut.
And a big left hand right on the jaw of Pinklon Thomas. Thomas is in all kinds of trouble. Still 30 seconds to go in the round.
Watch the uppercut.
It'll be all Thomas can do to get through this round. Seconds remaining, so he will get through this one. Brutal first round.
Well, Pinklon Thomas was true to his word. He came to fight. That was one of the most combative rounds that we've seen Tyson in.
But he's all right. Leave him the fuck alone.
Quiet, Angelo.
Well, leave him alone.
Pinky, look up at me.
Leave him alone. God damn it. Leave this fucking man alone. Jesus Christ. Get away from this man. No, you're nothing.
There's a left hand plus a right. It was the left hand that was the hard punch. But Tyson kept coming, but Thomas kept coming right back. Thomas is showing that he has something of a champion's heart. The last champion in with Tyson gave a feeble defense of his title. He's trying to make something happen, which of course may not be the best way to fight Mike Tyson. I've never seen Angelo that angry. Have you, Ray?
Well, Angelo has a tendency to get excited because I can see that's one about to overreact.
Well, Thomas did make something happen, I'll say that. It was the wrong something, though. Swelling and a bit of a cut under the left eye of Thomas. There's another left hand by Tyson.
Because the ring physician was checking Pinklon Thomas' eye, and that's why Angelo got so upset. Now here we don't really see clinching. All the guys are doing is basically just standing there. Clinching now by Pinklon Thomas, and we see that Mike Tyson is still going to work. He's working the free hand. And that's what Kevin Rooney told him to do.
Angelo Dundee telling Thomas, just stay away from this guy.
I'm expecting to see a lot of guys tie up Mike Tyson.
That was another huge left hook by Tyson.
You see what happens with the left jab back? It stops the man's rhythm. And the less jabs you throw, the more Mike Tyson you're going to see.
Thomas continuing to lean on Tyson rather than fight him at long range.
Well, what Pinklon needs to do is push his man off or either back away. I don't think he needs to be there. Not inside, not with the uppercut that Mike Tyson possesses. Mike's trying to push him off, but then again, Mike should be working that free hand. The right hand of Mike Tyson is free.
Crowd started to boo here, reminiscent of the last fight, of course. There's a left hook again.
Okay, break it up, break it up. Stand up.
Mike Tyson now is starting to jab Pinklon Thomas.
Well, Kevin Rooney told us that Tyson's jab was better than Thomas's. He said he knocked Alfonso Ratliff down with a jab.
Now see, Mike needs to work, whatever hand is free, he needs to work those little body shots. Mike is more so contented to stay there.
There's a good jab by Thomas. Counter punching right hand.
The jab sets you up for the right hand.
That wasn't a bad round for Thomas. I thought he fought him more intelligently, used his left hand. What he hasn't been doing, Ray, is moving side to side.
Well, he's standing directly in front of Mike Tyson. That's why Mike Tyson getting those punches off.
You got to go to war with this guy a little bit. You understand? But you got to put the pressure on him. Get the jab snapping. You're pushing it out. You got to snap it out. Get a little mean with this guy. You get inside now. You're not body punch. You go right back that same out. You get inside. You watch this baby all the time. You muscle. You understand? You made that round a little close. You still won. Get on this guy. Get on it.
That's the good stuff. Watch it. What do you want? Get it. Nice and smart. You be first with everything. First, everything. Give him movement. Let's go. That's the beginning of the end for this sucker. Let's do it. Come on.
Put on that jab and being a little more aggressive. Come on now. Don't be fucking out with this guy. You understand? Come on. Be aggressive.
Trying to get Thomas to be the first one shooting the left hand. That was Angelo Dundee's instructions.
Well,
and there it is.
He has to be first, Larry, because he has to stop that rhythm of Mike Tyson.
On the other side of that coin, Kevin Rooney in Mike Tyson's corner saying that he's pushing his jab, that he's got to snap it more.
Angelo wants a little bit more lateral movement from Pinklon Thomas.
Okay, break it up, break it up.
Kevin Rooney is yelling from his corner for Mike Tyson to punch out. He needs to work that hand, work that free hand.
Barry, is Mike Tyson now forcing the clinches? It seems to me he's going in sometimes to clinch.
He appears to be more conscious of it, and in fact, he himself wrapped his arm around Pinklon Thomas's arm. I think Mike Tyson's so conscious of that now. But you see what happens, Barry, every time that Pinklon gives a little lateral movement, throws his jab, he's able to be a little more elusive from the punches of Mike Tyson. So as long as he stays in front of Mike, Mike's going to land punches. Mike is like he's perpetual motion.
Swelling on both cheeks. There was a butt.
Okay, watch your heads.
No damage, though, but you hear Carlos Padilla saying, watch the heads. Started to say swelling on both cheeks. There's a good jab again by Thomas.
That's what's going to break the rhythm. He needs to break the rhythm with the jab. He's coming with the counter with the right hand also. But after you land those punches, you got to step right or step left.
Looks as though there might be a little cut above the left eye of Pinklon Thomas. I think that's where the blood is coming from. We'll see.
Okay, bring it up. Come on, then bring it up. Step up, step up, step up.
Thomas's people say that his jab is second only to that of Sonny Liston.
I don't like what Pinklon Thomas is doing. As he throws those, he attempts to throw those two punches, you'll notice that he comes straight up. He comes upright, and that's in line with the left hook of Mike Tyson.
Not sure that isn't cut over the left eye of Thomas. I think it's blood from somewhere else, just off the glove of Mike Tyson. 15 seconds remaining, round 3. And Tyson is the one who seems to want to fight inside. And want to hold.
For one of the few times since we've seen Mike Tyson, I gave his opponent the round.
No, he's butting the heck out of you. He's going to go, but nail him. But go first, go first. Don't lay in the clinches. I want you to go first out of everything, okay? Guy bum's getting desperate. He's trying to butt the heck out of you, you know what I mean? It's all right. I want you to go first with everything. If he comes jumping at you, go for him.
You're here, you understand? You're here. You gotta go out there and do it. You understand me? Use the jab and use the goddamn.
Let's take a look at Pinklon Thomas's jab right here.
Well, you see what happens there? It just knocks you off balance, especially if it's a good stinging jab like Pinklon Thomas possessed. It keeps you out of rhythm.
He hasn't shown much fear of Tyson.
Well, Thomas had said that Tyson has fought the C-class fighters and the B-class fighters, and now he's fighting an A-class fighter for the first time.
I was really expecting to see a lot of clinching from Pinklon Thomas because I think he picked something up from the Bone Crusher Smith fight. But he has to be a little busier than Bone Crusher.
Thomas said he looked at all the 15 or all the fights that went the distance of Mike Tyson. He didn't look at any of the knockouts. And I asked him who fought him the best in your opinion, and he said Jose Ribalta and Quick Tillis. There's a right hand by Tyson that caught Thomas above the ear.
See, Angelo wants Pinklon to be first, and what Pinklon is doing actually, he's fighting the same tempo as Mike Tyson, the same pace. He needs to pick his pace up a little bit, like he did just then. Mike Tyson retaliates with a few punches of his own.
Oh, bring it up there. Step up, step up.
I mean, the left jab can go downstairs, it can go upstairs. It can actually be the punch bar to win the fight.
Okay, bring it up. Step up, step up, step up. Oh, no, bring it up. Step up, step up.
Also, talking with Pinklon Thomas, he also said that the way that Mike Tyson holds his gloves close to his chin, he thinks he has the power to hit the gloves, and the gloves will actually hit himself.
It does seem to be Mike Tyson who really is the person who's tying up Pinklon Thomas more than Pinklon Thomas is tying up Mike Tyson.
Put it up. Okay. Step up. Good right hand. Now the right hand is starting to fall. But it's not going to be 1-2. It's going to be 1-2-3-4. That's those kind of combinations you need to throw against Mike Tyson. And some body shots.
Very slowly, Pinklon Thomas is getting himself into this fight. Starting to get a little bit of a rhythm here. And I think really starting to confuse Mike Tyson a little bit, right? He scored with that uppercut.
Pinklon Thomas, no question about it, has a great chin. But I don't think he wants to prove that too often.
Took a lot of punishment in the first round.
From what I see, Pinklon Thomas controlled that round. And he's making the champion look a little bit sick right now. A little confused.
Here, take this one. Yeah, and do this. Open up. Spit that out. Michael, you have a great jab. You're not using it at all. I want to see a snappy, hard jab. You're not fighting this guy. We're going to fight. We're going to fight it. We're going to bullshit. Huh? We're going to fight. We're going to bullshit. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Harold, how do you score this fight so far?
Larry, 3 rounds to 1, 39-36 in favor of Mike Tyson. I thought he won big enough to deserve an extra point in the first round. Did good in the second and the third, and Pinklon had a good fourth round.
I have it 2-2.
Let's see some steam out of that shot, okay? You got me? Come on.
Come on. Come on. What a better fight, show him.
Good combination by Kevin Rooney on Mike Tyson.
Well, Kevin Rooney wants to see more jabs from Mike Tyson.
And again, Pinklon Thomas is doing exactly what Angelo Dundee said. He is getting off first. He got off first that time with the right hand. And now the jab is effective. Blood under the left eye of Thomas. Not in a place you would think it would cause him a lot of trouble. Fighter become aware of being cut. I heard Thomas a couple rounds ago ask if he was cut.
Look, you have a good cut, man. Just like that was a good right hand by Pinklon Thomas. You have a good cut, man. You don't worry about that if you're a seasoned professional. Unless it really bothers you. The swelling. Pinklon needs to bend a little bit more than these. He's too upright. You see that jab? You see, again, it keeps him off balance.
And now
makes him reach.
It's also starting to go side to side pretty well, too.
That jab, as long as you use it consistently, will keep anyone off balance. It'll make you reach in, the right hand will land, and you'll find it'll be a much easier fight.
Pinklon Thomas really is almost starting to control the tempo of the fight. Tyson is almost fighting Thomas's fight rather than the opposite, and I've never seen that happen.
Bring it up. I was expecting to see more punches thrown by Mike. And in fact, he needs to throw more punches inside.
Tyson trying to use the jab as Kevin Rooney was exhorting him to do.
Little movement, little footwork from Pinklon Thomas.
And
jab.
Peppering him with the jab.
Okay. Watch your head, okay?
Carlos Padilla tells Tyson to watch the head. And Thomas again, impressive in this round. Long left hand by Tyson. Thomas is just not letting Tyson rough him up like Tyson has been able to do at will against other opponents. And I think it's fair to say lesser opponents. Thomas is holding him a little bit.
I wait to see Mike Tyson throw that bolo punch, kind of bolo, double right hand, right hand to the body and right hand to the head.
That's another round for Pinklon Thomas, in my book.
With bad intentions.
Bad intentions, baby.
With bad intent. What's the matter? You're getting tired. You're getting tired. Take some water here. Where's the right hand? Huh? Where's the right hand? Spit it out. Spit it out. Spit it out over here. Drink this. Yeah, give me that towel, Mike. Listen, bad intention. You gotta go your punch with bad intention. Hard. Go to the body. Hard. Hard. You use your jab a little bit. A little.
Now let's see what Tyson does here, why he's having so much problem. He was coming underneath Thomas to avoid the jab, and he is the one forcing most of the clinches right now, Ray.
Use that jab and use that right hand, but throw the punch with bad intention. Bad intention. You let this guy fall into the fight here. You understand?
Now look, you gotta pick up the pace. I don't want you in the clinches. You're doing fine, but you're blowing it because you're laying in there. Don't get. You're laying in there. I don't want you laying in there. I want you fighting this guy and boxing him. Put some pep into that left hook. You're hitting him with the hook off the jab.
You're doing all right, Pink. Keep that jab right there. Keep that jab right there, man. Don't let him get away.
Something has happened to Pinklon Thomas's glove.
Yeah, we got jab.
And we wonder now what's happening here, whether he thinks Thomas is tired and he's done something. Remember the famous incident with the cut glove of Muhammad Ali when he fought Henry Cooper. You also remember early in this round that Mike Tyson commented to his corner that he thought Thomas was getting tired. So I'm just wondering whether Angelo is pulling something right here.
Well, in fact, it was as a result of the business with Ali and Cooper that they installed a rule, pardon me, I got the bad throat going here, but that they installed a rule that you have to have another glove at ringside. So the Dundee rule may be biting Dundee here.
Because of that fight, because of the Ali Cooper. It seems that this glove was split, but we didn't see it. We haven't seen the glove, but we sure are seeing Pinklon Thomas getting some time. You know, Ray, usually the way Mike Tyson fights, and with his enormous presence, this Fort Tyson moving at you, it's like he has such strong music that the other guy dances to his music. But in this fight, Thomas is not dancing to his music. He's shutting the music off, and he's creating the tempo right now.
Well, Pinklon Thomas is starting to fight his fight and using the jab. And what actually he's doing, again, like I stated earlier, he's throwing Mike Tyson off. He's breaking Mike Tyson's rhythm. And Angelo told Thomas in the corner, don't stay in the clinches. Move away. Spin the guy off. See, Angelo doesn't want Pinklon Thomas here because he's afraid of the headbutt. He wants Thomas to spin this man off, get back on his bicycle, but not move too much, and use the jab.
This is the 6th round. We're going 12.
Okay, bring it up. Step up.
Thomas has answered one question, and that is which Pinklon Thomas will show up. It's the one that beat Tim Witherspoon, win or lose. And the question now, of course, is which Mike Tyson is showing up.
I think Mike Tyson, what happens, he tries to impress the public. I mean, he thinks it's an obligation. He has to understand the key to winning is do it your way.
There was a big uppercut by Tyson.
And the way he's doing his way now, but he has to forget about the crowd. Do it his way. And don't be embarrassed by his performances. Or a certain performance.
And a left hand, and that staggered Thomas. And a right hand behind it. Thomas in trouble again. And now Tyson moves in for the kill. 2 uppercuts and a left hand. Thomas trying to hold on. Serious trouble. And down he goes. 5, 6, 7, did not make it by the count of 10.
You heard in the corner before that round, Kevin Rooney saying, start throwing punches with mean intentions. In effect, he was saying, can those jabs I've been telling you to throw for the first 5 rounds and start throwing some real punches. And when he did, he did. I would also point out for those who care about such things that Tyson was a 6-5 favorite to end the fight before the end of the 6th round, which he just did.
Well, that was a real test, I think, for Mike Tyson.
Well, he fought a guy that had the right formula supposedly to defeat Mike, and well, that was a jab to tie him up and to give him lateral movement. But I think what happened, Pinklon Thomas eventually got caught with one of those powerful blows, and the rest was history.
Well, Ray, you were saying that Tyson could probably go to the uppercut. I think you said that in the 2nd or 3rd round, and it took a couple of rounds, but when he got to it, he got to it. Watch this uppercut.
Well, the reason I said the uppercut would be a factor is because Pinklon Thomas at times will lean inside, and that uppercut, it was an accurate punch, and a very powerful punch.
Now let's take a look at the knockdown. You know, we talk about finishers, and I've always said you were a great finisher. Well, here's a guy who doesn't have to take a back seat.
Well, he levels his punches. I mean, he gets so much leverage behind each punch. Mike Tyson can fight southpaw. He can fight orthodox. He puts his hip behind. Look at here. He's just putting his entire body behind the punch, and he's so relentless. Again, the uppercut, left hook. He's still in position to throw more punches, and it's just a matter of time. That left hook there was deadly.
Just a great finisher. I mean, once his man is hurt, he is gone.
Well, why Mike Tyson's such a threat to the heavyweight division is because he is such a good finisher. He gets you hurt. He doesn't let you off the hook.
Well, Kevin Rooney is trainer, and we always talk to the fighters, of course, and talk to Mike and talk to Kevin. And Kevin told us this guy's going to be champion as long as he wants to be champion. And it's obvious he wants to continue being champion. First time that Thomas has ever been knocked out. Right now, let's go up to the ring announcer, Chuck. Call for the official decision. Chuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time. 2 minutes of the 6th round. Referee Carlos Padilla stops the bout. The winner by a TKO and still WBC-WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
And let's go up to Larry Merchant now, who is with the winner, Mike Tyson. Larry?
Mike, until the end, that was tougher than it was supposed to be. Was it tougher than you thought it would be?
Good fight, man. Good fight. Thank you.
Good
You're a
fight.
great fighter also. It's my pleasure to give you a shot at the title. You deserve it.
Answer this question. Let me start again. It looked like it was much tougher than it was supposed to be up until the end.
Of course, but you know, I saw in something in previous fights he would get tired, and I said if I knock him out early when he's tired, he won't have no defense, and it'll be spectacular. And I knew he would get tired somewhere around the 7th round, because I saw in the last 2 fights he was gasping for a little air.
You said before the previous round that you thought he was getting tired.
I knew he was getting tired.
But he seemed to establish his jab pretty well and frustrate you quite a bit while you were trying to box with him in those rounds.
As you know, I was getting my jab off too. And as you know, he has a great jab, like everyone knows. You know, and he's a great fighter. And I feel I'm the best fighter in the world because I beat the best fighter in the world. Everybody gave him the regards.
Do you feel he was the 2nd best heavyweight out there?
Absolutely. Now I proved it.
When Kevin said to you before the round, start throwing punches with mean intentions, it sounded to me like he was really saying, forget that jab I've been telling you to throw all this time.
No. He wanted me to use the jab, but I was trying to convince him, which is my fault, and I should never do that. He was getting tired. And I said, give me one more round. Give me one more round. And I'll do whatever you say.
Okay. Mike, let's take a look at the knockout sequence of punches. You describe it for us.
Well, I saw I could sneak the uppercut in there. And I was just working it to the body, to the head. I saw he was hurt. And I just put everything together. He was tough, but I said, I'm going to put him together. And as you see, I'm putting him together, boom.
You hit him some decent shots up to then. Were you surprised that he took them as well as he did?
I saw him fight Weaver, and Weaver's the greatest knockout puncher around when he was fighting. And he took Weaver's best shots.
What is your feeling of satisfaction compared to the last time we had you here?
Well, I opened up and I was using my head more, and now when I go to the gym, I don't have to listen to too much criticism, even though I'm going to hear it.
Are you looking forward to fighting Tony Tucker and unifying the whole heavyweight division next?
Absolutely. I want his title so bad it's not even funny.
Okay, we hope it's not funny, or we hope maybe it's funny. But we'll hope to be there.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, and congratulations again. Back to ringside.
All right, Ray, now that it's said and done, what do you think? He beat a good heavyweight. He beat a quality heavyweight. Still impressed as you were with Mike Tyson? I would think you have to be, just based on the guy he fought tonight.
Well, I was impressed with the fact that Mike Tyson all of a sudden went back to what got him there. You know, power, relentless pressure, and not letting up. I think sometimes Mike, well, in the past, has become too cautious. But his biggest factor is staying aggressive and being tenacious.
But he did that in the first round. It looked like he was going to put him away in the first round. I think Thomas probably took his best shot. And then Thomas started to dictate the tempo of the fight, and it just seemed like a matter of time for Mike Tyson. At least that's his attitude.
Well, I think it still was a good fight because Mike Tyson took his time. Pinklon Thomas gave him problems because his jab, when he did use it, the jab was keeping Mike off balance. When Mike got inside, they both would clinch, and it wasn't too much action. Then all of a sudden, the sixth round, Mike started letting go those shots to the body, to the head, until eventually he was able to wear down Pinklon Thomas.
Looking for his one spot, and when he found it, he took advantage of it. And as we mentioned, you were looking at a great closer, a guy who really knows how to finish. Here are the punch stat totals. Mike Tyson threw 247 punches. That's about the norm for him. He averaged a 53% effectiveness rate. Thomas, on the other hand, threw a lot of punches. 42% not quite as effective, maybe not quite as sharp with that jab as he normally would be in his better fights against Tim Witherspoon. But I really have to think that Thomas really did a pretty good job. He showed up, he did the job, because Mike Tyson has always told us that guys say they're going to do this to me and they're going to do that to me, and then comes fight night and they don't do any of it. They just want to waltz or want to hug each other. Well, that wasn't what it was tonight. Thomas wanted to fight, and I think Mike Tyson got all he wanted from Pinklon Thomas. Now let's get back up to the center of the ring and Larry Merchant. Larry?
Earlier tonight, I commented that too often it seems that the water comes to the top in the heavyweight division. But in this last fight, we did see the cream come to the top. Michael Tyson, obviously the best heavyweight in the world right now. Although he did appear more vulnerable in this fight than he has in the past. So maybe someone who does come along with true boxing skills, great legs, and good nerve will give him even more trouble than Pinklon Thomas did for a few rounds tonight. There's one thing about Mike Tyson that brings a smile to my lips. It's the habit that all of us have of when a man reaches some sort of perfection or domination, or even a team for that matter, we first want to applaud them and high-five them and celebrate them and tell them how great they are. And about 10 minutes later, we go around saying, is there anybody out there who can beat him? Well, right now, in all honesty, I'd have to say that the only one who can beat Mike Tyson that we know of is Mike Tyson. If he takes care of business, not even Mike Tyson can beat himself. Barry?
Well, Ray, let me ask you the question that Larry Merchant just posed. Can anybody beat Mike Tyson?
Well, I just retired.
That's true. You were only talking about 175, right? Although there was a hot rumor. Let me tell you, it's good to have you back, Champ.
Good to be back, too, Barry. Thank you.
And it's full time, right?
Yes, Barry.
All right, well, that brings this broadcast to a close. Then we want to remind you to stay tuned following HBO's World Championship Boxing coverage for Ray Bradbury's Theater, and then The Hitchhiker on both the East and the West Coast. And be sure to join us 9 days of coverage of tennis's most prestigious event. Wimbledon 87 premieres Monday, June 22nd. Join Arthur Ashe, Billie Jean King, Barry McKay, Larry Merchant, and me. We'll take you right through the semifinals right here on HBO. So for Larry Merchant and Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm Barry Tompkins saying so long from Las Vegas, Nevada. The executive producer of HBO Sports and the producer of tonight's telecast is Ross Greenberg. This show was directed by Mark Payton. The feature producers were Rick Bernstein, Steve Salvatore, and Mike Whalen. The associate producer was David Harmon. The assistant to the producer, Ryan McDonald. And the production manager, Ralph Cohen.